Let's Have Court Part 24, I think it is. Good to see you again, Your Honor. Back from lunch. Now, as far as the estate goes, the aforementioned estate, Your Honor, I'm pretty sure I could guess what evidence would be presented against me about how I've been coming after them and that how I'm a threat. And I would imagine, Your Honor, they probably use some clips of my early videos in some of their lawsuits or requests for having things sealed as an example of the public threats to them. That's pretty ironic. So I imagine they would present video clips to you, Your Honor, of my early work, which was really designed just to get people's attention before the real work began. All the while doing work, but the real work began after the attention is gotten. So I imagine what they would present to you is old clips of my videos, and here's, I'm going to give you an example of what I would present to you. Because they'll come in as if they're babes in the woods, Your Honor. This is what they always do. And they present everyone as a threat to them and their family, when no one ever is. That's the funny thing. And there's many court documents and examples I will cite in this case. But what I have now is a pre-written kind of description of reality. They're not babes in the woods. And any attempt to say that I'm attacking them or coming after them is quite ironic, again, when I believe they sent thugs. I believe that one of them or one of their agents called the FBI. I don't do these things, so I'm not the dangerous one. But they'll come in as if they're babes in the woods and try and paint me as the dangerous one via some old videos. But they won't give you the context, as I'm sure they didn't give the context when they showed one of my old videos and one of their other lawsuits they had going, which there are many, Your Honor, which we'll get into eventually. So here's what they'll do. They will say that I called them murderers, but they've been blaming Chris Cornell's death on Peter Cornell and Soundgarden, etc. for years in full public view on their untouchable social media accounts that have thousands of followers. Yes, they've been saying in many different ways, especially one member of the estate, trying to blame Chris Cornell's death on his brother Peter and on his bandmates Soundgarden. This is, of course, it's ridiculous. Peter was the one to go pick up his brother's body and fly it to its final destination. So I know Peter had nothing to do with it personally, Your Honor. That's how I know. That's in my opinion, that's how I know that he had nothing to do with it. He wasn't afraid to show his face in Detroit. Certain other parties were. Let's put it that way, Your Honor. And they're all about social media and image. So for years, they've been pointing fingers and hurling accusations at just everyone you can think of within the deceased rock star's life besides them. Everyone's to blame for everything. They're never to blame for anything. And it gets quite ugly at times. And again, their accounts have thousands of followers. People listen to what they say. It's very serious, Your Honor. So it's kind of funny, again, that they would say I'm attacking them. But let's continue. But when I present theory, I am always sure to state whether what I'm saying is theory, opinion, or adjudicated fact via legal documents or some other source. I even did a video years ago whilst the estate was blaming Peter Cornell for his brother's death, saying to Peter Cornell that they're calling you a murderer, dude, say something. I remember saying that on camera, Your Honor. Somehow, almost everyone who knew Chris Cornell became a victim of that family, and even I became a victim. Trolling campaign, thugs, FBI, shutdowns, what their minions were saying online about me, etc. My point is, Your Honor, that many accusations have been hurled publicly and via court documents by that specific estate at others in full public view in order to influence public opinion and to smear the object of that family's wrath almost from the second Chris Cornell died. There are thousands of witnesses to this over the past 7 years. That family even trashed the Vedders for not attending Chris Cornell's funeral by calling Eddie Vedder subhuman and not a man. In other words, Your Honor, it may appear that I'm attacking them in my videos, but that family makes an art form of attacking people publicly via their social media accounts and schemes. They are a literal publicity family. That's what they do. And when you stand back and look at the plethora of accusations that family has hurled over the years in full public view at others, it seems endless and makes my alleged attacks, that's in quotes, Your Honor, on them via social media seem like child's play. I don't make threats. I don't send thugs. I don't send FBI for absolutely no reason after a guy who has a squeaky clean background. That's me, Your Honor. As I'm sure the FBI knew before them on social media. What is this? I'm sorry, I messed up here, Your Honor. Your Honor, they will say that all I do is attack them on social media, but they make attacking people via the press, court docs, and social media a full-time lifestyle. Oh, excuse me. Back to the background check. I don't send thugs, I don't send FBI for absolutely no reason after a guy who has a squeaky clean background, as I'm sure the FBI knew before they ever arrived at my ex-girlfriend's house. Your Honor, they will say all I do is attack them on social media, but they make attacking people via the press, court docs, and social media a full-time lifestyle. It's what they do. There are thousands of witnesses to this fact. One piece of evidence is, before Chris Cornell married into that family, his life wasn't about lawsuit after lawsuit and smearing people via court documents, the press, or social media. But after he married into that family, it appears his life became a plethora of senseless litigation over and over again. Because that's how the family he married into operates. That is their thing. I can present court docs, articles, social media posts, and more to back up what I'm saying. The attacks against other people, the Vedders, Your Honor, you'll learn this as time goes on and I explain further. Everyone becomes a victim of that family. Everyone in Chris Cornell's life before he married into that family. Susan Silver became a victim. Lily Cornell became a victim, his daughter from his first marriage. Susan Silver's his ex-wife, Your Honor. Wonderful woman, great woman. Who else? The Vedders, Peter Cornell, me, so many people that Chris knew prior to marrying into that family have become victims. Dr. Koblin, a doctor they sued for, in my opinion, it was an unfair suit. And I think the goal was getting a letter, Your Honor, but let's not get into that. That's just a guess of mine. But I want to read this part one more time. I can present court documents, articles, social media posts, and more to back up what I'm saying. But also what I can present is witnesses, people that saw this over the years. Thousands of people. I'm not saying I'm going to bring thousands of witnesses in. I would bring some witnesses in. Or their statements, affidavit. And I want to say this. I've also always tried to make this very clear as I spoke about certain famous people. Never approach them for any reason. I wanted to make it clear that I was not about sending my viewers to harass or threaten or even speak to any of the famous people I discuss. I remember once on video when we were wondering where Martin Kirsten was, I told people if they saw him, let me know. But I also told them do not approach him or say anything to him, leave him alone, leave them all alone. as they sent thugs after me, ruined my rep, and called the FBI, and deployed a professional trolling campaign designed to harass my female viewers. Specifically, picture this, Your Honor, a fictional scenario, if you will. A woman whose husband dies. Her husband has a lot of fans, millions across the world, okay? She sees a guy on social media that starts talking about her husband's death. She decides, and again, this is all fictional, Your Honor, just a scenario I'm just presenting to the court. She decides to employ a public relations firm or her own firm. Maybe she has her own firm. I don't know. A team of trolls, paid, unpaid, associates of the estate, whatever. It's obvious where it came from. It's obvious what the goal was, to target the women in the audience, in the comment section, by making vile sexual comments. They knew what they were doing. It was obvious. And it caused chaos, Your Honor. It was very destructive. It was a big problem for me, Your Honor. I used to wake up every morning during this social media endeavor, during the trolling campaign. And every morning, the first thing I would do is open up the comment section to my videos, find the 30 trolls that were sent by some public relations firm to attack women on the site, on my channel. And I'd start blocking trolls. That's how I'd have to spend my morning every morning when I woke up, because someone decided it was a good idea to start a trolling campaign on my channel. Now, back to the fictional scenario, Your Honor. So this woman employs a team of trolls to say vile sexual things to women and vile things about her husband's death. Use screen names like man hanging in bathroom. Stuff like that, Your Honor. Screen names like the publicist, which is what the rock star's wife is. Again, but that's reality. Let's get back to the fictional scenario. So she employs this team to attack women when she's a woman. Allegedly a liberal woman, I think. So there goes that. And again, in the fictional scenario, the vile things about her own husband they're saying. This woman decides to do that in the fictional scenario, Your Honor. Does that... It makes you wonder what the goal is. It makes you wonder how much that woman loved her husband, that she would allow that. And it tells you everything about how they operate. There is no line. And, Your Honor, I had to endure things I told you in the earlier video. People putting my name out there, my address, anything they could find on it. No one else had a line. I was the only one that had a line. So again, they're going to try and come into the courtroom, Your Honor, as babes in the wood. They've done this routine over and over again as they tried to ruin a process server's life. And I'll get into more detail about that, Your Honor, because I want you to have the context and specifics. I'll just give you the basics quickly. They tried to ruin a process server's life by completely fabricating a story about the man. In an attempt to paint him as a criminal and to have done something wrong and to get him in as much trouble as possible, ruin his life. That was the goal, obviously. They wanted a restraining order or something. They didn't even get granted that because they couldn't prove their case because they made up the story. What it really was, it's some rich women who got approached by a process server and they got pissed off. How dare you serve me this thing I was trying to avoid? You know what I mean? You peon, you peasant. How dare you? So I'm going to try and ruin your life via the courts now. That's just one example. Here's another quick example, Your Honor, because I'm going to go into detail on these things in the future, and I'll literally present them to you during the actual trial. This is just, to give you a little taste of what we may expect and what defenses may be brought, because they're all automatons, and I can see I know everything they're going to do before they do it, Your Honor. So when it does happen, I want you to go back to these videos, Your Honor, these presentations, just for you, to see all the predictions I made that come true. But they're going to come in as babes in the woods, and they paint everyone as a threat to their family. when no one ever is. It's kind of it's fascinating. And that's what they tried to do to the process server. Make him a threat to their family. The guy was just doing his job, trying to serve them papers that they didn't want to get served, that they were avoiding. Otherwise, they wouldn't have been so pissed off at the guy. And, how dare you serve us? We have to ruin your life now by making up a story. That's why they lost in court against this man. But the guy's just a simple, lowly process server. They tried to ruin his life just for doing his job, Your Honor. Again, this is one example of what I'm talking about. These are not babes in the woods. These are people that if you cross them, or they think in their minds you have slighted them in some way, they will try and ruin your life. Same way they ruined my endeavor. They've done huge damage. The one member of the family that put up that comment that the FBI thought I was dangerous. That's big damage. That's a bold statement to make. That law enforcement said I was dangerous. That information does not exist. That is made up. That is defamation by a member of that estate. Again, I didn't force them to write that, Your Honor. They decided to. They took that path in life. That's how they want to proceed. They have no line. To the point, they will point out that I'm homeless in a statement and then defame me intentionally by saying the FBI that they called, or one of their agents called for them, thought I was dangerous. They never said that. That information does not exist. Someone made that call, and the FBI don't jump for nobody unless you got 6 zeros in your bank account at least. That's after a real number, Your Honor. 6 zeros. So don't believe this babe in the woods thing that they're going to try. And don't just let them show you a clip of one of my old videos in the beginning where I was doing something calculated because I knew people would underestimate me. And by people, I mean the people that came after me. I knew they were going to come after me. I knew it. I did it anyway, Your Honor, because something isn't right here. And I'll explain that more in future videos. But these are no babes in the woods. I already know they're going to come in. They're going to play a clip of one of my old videos. And you'll see a difference, Your Honor, between one of my old videos and my newer ones. You'll see the difference in the channel as the time goes by. Because once I already had the audience, then the real work can begin. Not that I didn't do work in the beginning when I was trying to gather the audience. Get noticed on social media, which isn't easy. And I have morals, again, Your Honor. I didn't want to get noticed for outright lying, just saying anything. That's not me. I've explained my moral code and how I operate. So they can play an old video of me and say I'm coming after them. But again, I didn't call thugs FBI. I didn't employ a trolling team to get their accounts taken down. I did none of that. Or make sexual comments to people in their comment section. Or make vile comments about a man who died. I didn't do any of that. They chose to do that to me. And I guarantee, Your Honor, if we threw some subpoenas out there for some IP addresses way back in the beginning, I have a feeling, if I had to guess, we'd find several members of that family in my very comment section back when I started. I have a feeling, if I had to guess, that if we looked up those IP addresses, we'd come up with locations and devices that belong to that family. So, despite the fact of them since day one trying to paint me as some threat to their family, I'm coming after them, blah, blah, blah. Typical, everyone's a threat to their family bullshit they always pull. We're just scared little weak women, you know what I mean? Everyone's coming after us. No, it's the exact opposite, Your Honor. It's them going after everyone else. Trust me, I'll read you the documents. I'll read you the social media posts. These are not babes in the woods, and they came after me mercilessly. And just because they tried to hide their name from it at every turn doesn't mean I won't find evidence it was them specifically in certain instances, because I also have stalkers and crazy people, Your Honor, and jealous fiancés of friends of mine, etc. So one more time, Your Honor, these are not babes in the woods, and they can play a video, and I'll read all the court documents where they're lying their ass off. I'll point out how each person is a victim, how some people have been defamed, like Susan Silver. That's right, quickly I'll go into this, Your Honor. Chris Cornell dies, his estate goes into probate. Susan Silver, Chris Cornell's prior wife, prior marriage, that ended in divorce, put a claim against the estate in probate. Now, Your Honor, I'm sure you know probate is the time where all, people that are owed money by an estate make their claim. You have to. You have a certain amount of time. You know this, Your Honor. You're a judge. So, Susan Silver put her claim. She had an agreement with her dead ex-husband, deceased ex-husband, excuse me, that even post-death, this agreement is still binding between the two of them, because they had a child together named Lily. So Susan Silver puts her claim against the estate because you have to legally. You have that certain amount of time, otherwise it's much more difficult to collect. We all know this in the law profession, Your Honor. So Susan puts her claim in. The estate objects to her claim, then puts out articles smearing Susan Silver and court documents, etc. Social media posts. Oh, why would Susan think we wouldn't live up to our obligations? Why is she suing us for no reason? This is so wrong. Blah, blah. Did the typical publicist hit job on Susan Silver when all she did was submit a claim for while the estate was in probate? They objected to her claim, Your Honor. They smeared her in the press and in court documents as if she had no right to do. Why is she suing? We don't understand. Because you objected to her claim, you liar. That's the part you don't tell the public in your hit pieces that you pay for. Sorry, Your Honor. So, and then on top of it, Your Honor, once the case starts to become, get in front of a judge, what's the first thing the estate does? Try and get the claim dismissed. So first they object to Susan's claim. They pretend they didn't object. They don't tell nobody that. Susan has to say it, in a legal document. Months later, we finally see the real truth. So they object to her claim, Your Honor. Then they ask the judge to dismiss the case. So Susan, again, can't collect on her agreement, can't collect what she's owed from the estate. All the while, in the full publicity smear against Susan Silver, acting like they're babes in the woods. Why is Susan coming after us like this? Why are we always, why does everyone, just treat us so badly? All Susan was doing was putting a claim in at the proper time, like she's supposed to. And then they try and get the case dismissed after they object to her claim. Meanwhile, they're telling the public, yeah, she's so mean, she's coming after us. There's no reason for this lawsuit. It's frivolous. It's ridiculous. Why would anyone think the estate wouldn't live up to their obligation? Because you objected to her claim, you liar. That's why. The people that know. Then you tried to get the case dismissed. You're trying to get out of paying her. It's obvious. You made 2 moves to try and get out of paying her. You didn't tell the public that, though. Oh, no, that would ruin your image. And they don't know how stupid the public is, Your Honor, as far as no one looks into anything. No one questions anything. They see a headline, they just walk away. Meanwhile, what's being stated in the headlines and the court documents by the estate, the allegations against Susan Silver, are complete bullshit. The exact opposite of what they're stating, the estate is stating about Susan Silver, is true. In other words, there's a perfectly legitimate reason to think they won't live up to their obligations, Your Honor. They objected to Susan's claim. Said fuck off. Then when the trial begins, oh yeah, can you dismiss this case, Your Honor? Against Susan Silver? Or Susan's case against us? Because it's frivolous, right? 2 times they told Susan to fuck off. I don't know the end result of the case, Your Honor. All I know is how Susan got treated. And that's an example of what this publicity family does to people. Literally lie to the public. When behind the scenes in reality, they're doing the exact opposite. They are giving Susan reason to think they won't live up to their obligations. It's ridiculous. This is the real them, Your Honor. Don't let them pull this move again, the babe in the woods move. And let me leave you with this, Your Honor. What I said about them and my attacks against them are child's play to what these people have done for years. Attack. That's all they do is attack people on a daily basis. That's what they do via their social media accounts, via the press, via court whatever they have to do or say. And in the background, the complete opposite of what they're saying is true. Till the next session, Your Honor.